How the hell did y'all win this game?
Well, we stayed in it. We stayed in the fight mentally, because there's a lot of moments where our guys, we're struggling and frustrated, and we're getting our butts kicked, quite frankly. Credit to Kings. They played a great basketball game tonight. The team's got a lot of firepower, and, you got to match it, and we didn't have our best offensive first three quarters. Could have played better there and could have guarded with more fight, more disposition early in the game. But, we've seen firsthand that the modern NBA team's never out of a game. We've lost a few, and that was the sort of the messaging throughout the game is, we're going to keep changing the game, but we just got to stay in the fight. And I thought KD, Brad, and Book were all vocal in timeouts, just saying, "Come on, stay with it. The next play type of mindset," and kept us engaged. And then, like I said, the coach always has an opportunity to change the game with what's happening in terms of why they got a lead. So, we looked at this small lineup. We're going to go 5 3-point shooters, but J.O. was making some real quality energy plays, so we kept him in there a little longer, but finally got Eric in there, and he hit some big threes, and all those guys really stepped up. So I'm proud of how our guys stayed together and stayed in the fight.
Curious, you just mentioned obviously going small and having 5 shooters out there. You feel like that was the biggest reason for the comeback?
Yes.
And then on top of that, defensively though, what do you feel like changed from the first 3 quarters, because they were pretty much getting whatever they wanted?
Yeah, well, that's part of it's not just 5 3-point shooters, but 5 smalls, and you go through 1 through 5 red. Although KD did a great job in a lot of possessions of guarding Sabonis in coverage and not switching, not passing him off to other guys, and he's had 4 exceptional defensive performances for us in the last 4 games, starting with Kawhi, then guarding LeBron. And then, throughout the game in Portland, and then down the stretch, asking to guard Simons. And then tonight, guarding Sabonis. You know what I mean? So, when he puts his mind to it, he can really be a force on that side of the ball. And he was a big part, defensively, he was a big part of this win tonight.
You mentioned the big 3 being Vogel, just being down as many as 22. How difficult can that be when it feels like, some recent games might be repeating themselves to fight through that sort of thing?
Well, you got to stay on the messaging, for sure. You got to echo it, and you got to get after your guys a little bit, and we did that. Made sure that they weren't hanging their heads. That we got to be forward looking, and how can we win the next few possessions, and the way we can shoot the basketball, the firepower that we have. We should believe that we're never out of a game, and our guys stayed in it.
Not sure how much that 5-man unit has played, if at all, this year. Is that something you had known you wanted to eventually try out, and this just felt like the right time? And is it something you think you could do more of since it worked?
Yeah, well, it's definitely something that we've talked about. There's a lot of talk about how many games the Big 3 have played together, but I don't know. That number is even less with all 5 of these guys, because a lot of times the Big 3 was in there, either Grayson or Eric was out. So we talked a lot about it in the preseason. I remember back in I think it was the Palm Springs game. We were ready to go. Let's look at what 5 3-point shooters looks like with KD at center, and I think Brad got hurt, and Book ended up not playing that game, and we didn't see those 5 guys healthy for a long time. So, it's not something that I think is going to be a steady diet for us, but it's always a move that we can make and a lineup we can go to when we need it.
For the third quarter, you guys only were able to cut it down to 10, but there were a few different flurries from you guys to keep the game from getting out of hand. How big was that to keep it in a position in the fourth where you could ultimately come back?
Yeah, I mean, you got to hang in there. You know what I mean? And it's easy. You see a lot of 40-point blowouts in this league. The game gets to 18, 20, 22. You lose focus. That could easily get up to 30 plus. And our guys, again, the message of next play. Like, forget what just happened. Okay, we'll keep making moves with whatever adjustments we got to make. And but mentally, you got to stay in the game and give yourselves a chance.
We're asking you nearly every game at this point about the fourth quarter. Do you think this can be a turnaround, or at least like a sign for the team that they're improving there?
Yeah, definitely a positive sign. We won the fourth quarter, and we scored 35 points. But every game's different. So I don't think next game is going to be about being down and throwing a different lineup out there. We got to execute with the guys that we have scripted out.
Sorry. maybe we check back in a month or two, but are you of the belief that a win like this can change the course of the season?
I think it just keeps our momentum going. You know, I thought we did some good things on the Christmas Day game in a loss, you know, that I was encouraged about. And, you know, I felt like our team was going in the right direction with how we're sharing the basketball and how we're committing to the paint. And, you know, I don't know if it's since that point, but I know we've won 8 of our last 11, so we're 8-3 in the last 11 games, and doing some really positive things and building confidence each game that goes by. Tonight, you know, being probably maybe one of the biggest of those games, you know, to keep the confidence going. So encouraged with the direction we're heading.
How has Grayson exceeded your expectations this year?
He's making 9 threes every other game, so I wasn't expecting that. In a lot of ways, honestly. You know, he's a even better shooter than we anticipated. He's better putting the ball on the floor and making plays, and he's probably better defensively, you know, guarding top matchups. You know, and those 3 things have been invaluable for us.
It was hard to believe for you that you were outlining this roster in like July, August, September, and then he wasn't on it because he's just like such an important guy for you now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the NBA. You know, your roster changes, and you know, you lose some things you like, you gain some things you didn't have, and you know, but when, you know, obviously when that trade was made and we heard that he was in it, we were all very excited about it. But even with that, he's exceeded those expectations.
Brad said after the last game that this was a step back for the defense, but since this is a comeback win and everything regarding the Kings, you guys lost to them twice before, is this a step forward or is it still a step back defensively, being that you got down as low as 22?
3 wins in a row. All 3 moving in the right direction. You know, if you can play imperfectly and have lessons learned while you're winning, that's a great sign.
What did you learn from the defensive effort for the first half and how the turnovers are out? Because you showed what you can do defensively at the end of the ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, we guarded them differently. We had different lineups out there and different coverages in the second half. We have to do better with our main rotation, you know, against that team. But they're very difficult to guard, and you know, I think number one thing with that is the transition urgency. You know, I mean, they played with great pace, and you know, we weren't getting back well enough.
Coach, when you guys, I think, entered the game on a 32-8 run, at what point in that run were you starting to think, okay, we got a shot here to win this game?
I knew when we cut it. I mean, I think we cut it to 10 or so in the third, and it ended up getting back to plus 20. When we went from 20 to 10 in the third, you know, I knew we still had a chance, and I knew we still had a lineup that we could throw out there that they would keep Sabonis on the floor and make him guard 5 elite shooters. You know, so knowing that we were able to cut it to 10 once already, I felt very confident that we could at least make it a game. Obviously, you know, it's still a long shot to come back from down 22, but I knew we would have a chance.
Thanks,
With the starting 5,
Last one. You're good.
with the starting 5 committing just a total of 13 turnovers collectively. However, they still protected the ball a whole lot better in that fourth quarter. What was the offensive adjustment, including with Kevin Durant, who also committed 7 turnovers today?
Yeah, I mean, keeping things simple, recognizing where they were bringing the double teams and how we wanted to space out of it. You know, I thought our guys are all willing passers, you know, when a double team comes. And, you know, I would say that's in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, you know, just playing with the 5 3-point shooters and that type of space, you know, it's just a different attack.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.